So I put out a video last week. It was like the truth about YouTube in resellers or something like that, and it got quite a big response, thousands of views, and you know, I think when a video gets more views than you've got subscribers, I think that kind of shows that it did kind of resonate in a way, and a lot of people did kind of tune in to watch it. Thanks everyone that did watch it, and all the people that subscribed as well. The video itself was, I thought the video was quite good actually, and a lot of you did actually watch to the end as well. It was a 27-minute video, and just over a third of the people that watched it watched all the way to the end. So I think that's also quite telling as well, that people did find the video quite interesting. But I thought we'd do a follow-up to that. I thought I'd let it sit for a week, let all the comments kind of pile in, and kind of get what the general gist of it was. Now, I've been contacted by a number of the YouTube resellers, you know, in the industry on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people that you would know, and people that I know, and people that we've known each other for a long time, right? So it's good to see those people jump in and kind of not take offense to it, and you know, offer their 2 cents on it as well. Now, I do want to say as well that we will be on Car Boot Chris's podcast in the near future, and we'll be discussing this as a much larger subject. So I don't want to go too much into this because it'll kind of spoil that in a way. But I did want to offer an update on this, and we'll go through a few of the comments that people have left. One of them was Chris actually, and he left quite a long comment, which was what I was looking for really. I wanted a, you know, like a detailed response from people, not just a yeah, you're right, or a pitchfork, no, you know, you're wrong, and all this sort of stuff, right? Now, as you can see here, the video got over 170 likes, and I think there was like 8 dislikes or something like that. I'm guessing the 8 dislikes were from the YouTube resellers that didn't reach out to me or didn't leave a comment on the video. There was, no, I'm just joking, but there was a comment from one person who is clearly using an alternate account. Because, and the reason why I know this is because when you look at the people they subscribe to, there's only one reselling channel that they subscribe to, so I'm assuming it's their own. But yeah, we'll go through some of the comments that we had. There's 3 that I want to go through, and we'll kind of offer a rebuttal to those, and I'll put them up on the screen here so you can read along with me. But Chris has put, good video and you raise a lots of important points. I think there's a couple of things also worth considering. Firstly, the natural evolution of our shopping habits and the fact that internet buying and selling has only really been attractive for maybe 20 years. I had a high street shop back in 2001 and I wasn't even selling online. But now I wouldn't even consider a high street shop. So our habits evolve over time, and yes, YouTube had some involvement, but how much, who knows? Now, completely agree. You know, shopping habits have massively changed over the years. You know, I used to live in London's 4th largest shopping district. If you've ever been to Romford, it's basically just a massive shopping town. You've got the Liberty Shopping Centre, you've got the Brewery Shopping Centre, you've got the Mall Shopping Centre, and then you've got the Romford Market and all of the little shops that are around, all of that sort of stuff as well. So, and I completely agree with you. We opened up a shop a few years ago. We did a pop-up shop for the months of November and December, and it was terrible. It was my worst Christmas ever by far. We wasted loads of time just standing in a shop, not taking any money, when I could have been standing somewhere else and, you know, sourcing stock or, you know, selling it anywhere else, basically. So yeah, Chris, you are completely right. You know, even for myself now, I can't even remember the last time I went, you know, shopping that wasn't for food. You know, even clothes and stuff, you can usually find it much cheaper online. You can find the size you want, you know, the color you want, and I kind of mentioned this in the last video as well. But yeah, you are completely right that shopping habits have changed in the last 20 years, and more people are starting to become online. I mean, I don't know what your high streets are like, but you know, my high streets now, you know, Debenhams has gone, BHS has gone, all of those big, you know, sort of like brand shops have gone now, and they're kind of being filled up with bookies, you know, restaurants, you know, takeaways and barbers and stuff like that, right? So yeah, massive change in how people do their shopping now, and that definitely has had an effect. I think that definitely does. That is why our business works so well, though, right? You know, the fact that there is so many people online shopping now is the reason why we are able to work in this business. I mean, before eBay, I'm sure there would have been people like us, but they would have probably been selling them on markets, or, you know, or even just reselling onto boot sales and stuff like that, right? So I think there is some truth to it, but also, you know, it's worth pointing out that this job wouldn't exist without the internet anyway. So Yeah. All right, so the second part of his comment says, I don't believe many charity shops sit watching YouTube. Look at the demographic who run them for a start. Even managers don't have time. I do think COVID started accelerating the changes and taught them how to sell online when they couldn't open up physically. I believe most charities will be solely online in as little as 5 years. Good point. I do believe that charity shop people are watching these videos. I think just like us, right? We are resellers and we watch other people's resellers videos, and I think people are interested in where they work. So if you work in insurance, you probably read up a little news about insurance and stuff like right. So I don't think it's definitely not. I think you are definitely right to a degree. There probably is some people in the charity shops that don't watch these videos, but for every person that there is, I think that there is a person that there isn't. I think that there is a person that is, and if there is a person that is working there, it's likely that that's going to be taken on. Yeah, they're going to be shared across the shop, and that's that's going to become the new norm. The problem with these people looking this stuff up on eBay is that we've all seen it ourselves, right? Is that they know how to look it up, but they don't quite know how to check the price properly. And I brought out an example in the last video where I brought out a camera. I don't have it here anymore, but I brought out a camera and said, this is usually 50 quid, but because someone's got it on eBay for 75, the person in the charity shop will price it at 75. And I think that is quite a big problem as well, is that just because they see a price online, they don't really know how to figure out what it's likely to sell for. And we see this in charity shops all the time. Everybody's complaining about the prices of charity shops and that sort of stuff. But yeah, believing most charities will be solely online in as little as 5 years. I don't disagree with you, but I do disagree with you in a sense. Now, if they closed up all of their shops, right, how would they get their donations? As far as I'm aware, most people donate their stuff out, to the shops themselves. I know that everything, eventually maybe goes to like a central distributor, and then that gets sorted and then distributed out to the places that sell that type of thing the most. But I think the only reason that charities actually do have a shop front at the moment anyway is A, to get rid of like the all the pound bric-a-bracy stuff that's not really worth anything, and two, because it's marketing. It lets people know that you're still a charity and that you're still out there, and three, it lets people know that you're there to have donations dropped off at. So I think in principle you are right. I think all of the best stuff that they get hold of will end up online, but I think again it won't quite be online only because it doesn't give anybody any way to donate their stuff, and I think charities get discounts on business rates, they get discounts on taxes and all that sort of stuff as well, so it probably makes financial sense to lose money on the shop front because it serves the business as a wider whole, similar to like Twitch and Amazon. Amazon keeps Twitch even though Twitch loses its money. Thirdly, we are in an age of online videos, oversharing our lives to minute detail, leaving on our devices. That's just how it is, and it gets worse. It goes back to point one about the evolution of technology. 100% agree. Yeah, content has massively changed over the last 10 years. I think definitely my generation and below are definitely watching more online videos. Like me personally, most of the stuff I watch is on YouTube. I don't even have anything that you can watch terrestrial TV on. I don't have a Freeview box or anything like that. There's nothing on there that's worth watching to me. I'd rather watch something on YouTube that's interesting, more impactful, or something on Netflix or something like that, right? But yeah, 100% you are right, and everybody is sharing all of their lives, and even outside of reselling, you've got people like Logan Paul that kind of just share their wild lifestyle on camera. And you've got people that just kind of share their hobbies, people that chase butterflies, or people that train watch, or people, there's loads of things that people like to watch, right? And yeah, you are right. There is kind of a desire for people to watch other real people. And I think that, the death of like celebrity is kind of, has definitely happened over the last 10 years as well. And, what people consider celebrities now are the people you watch on YouTube. I Show Speed, KSI, Kai Cenat, Asmongold, all of these people would probably spark more of a reaction in the public if they was to be seen, walking around Tesco's or whatever. So yeah, there definitely is a change in the way that people consume, and there's also a change in the way that people produce content as well. We don't need multi-million-dollar studios anymore. You just need a camera, for 20 quid, or just use your phone or whatever, and you need a background, which is is what it is. You use your background and you kind of talk into a camera, right? But I think the main problem is that while there is a desire to produce content, there's also kind of an ego that surrounds that as well, right? I've definitely seen a couple of YouTubers over the years that have turned from quite a humble person into just the most obnoxious people because they've got so many subscribers on YouTube, right? So it's definitely something to kind of watch out for. Now, this next point's a good one from Chris. It says, finally, and there's probably lots more to say, I believe that resellers who complain about YouTube are mostly those that fail to adapt or change based on what's happened in this fast-moving vocation. If you want to be a successful reseller, you've got to keep changing, and a lot of people don't like change and they probably won't survive. It's easy to blame YouTube, etc., rather than look at themselves. And 100% agree with you. And I think, the video that I made, like I said at the very, very beginning, it wasn't an attack on YouTubers. It was just an honest discussion about how the YouTube space has really changed this this space. And it wasn't so much, the videos being made. It was the fact that I'd see some YouTubers just completely deny that that they could possibly be part of a problem. And regardless of whether you make YouTube videos or not, I think I was able to demonstrate that YouTube has made this space more and more difficult to make, not to make money in, but definitely to source in the normal spots or to find the old stuff that you usually would be able to find. Now, you are right. People do have to change. You have to adapt all of the time. I'm always adapting. I'll speak, in terms of like the Pokemon business at the moment, trying to find Pokemon sealed product is just insane at the moment. You get your allocation when a set comes out, and that is it until the next set comes out. There's no restocks like there was. There's none of this, getting stuff on discount and all of this sort of business. It's all gone. So how do you adapt in the Pokemon business? Well, there's many ways to make money in the Pokemon business. You don't have to just sell sealed product. There's also singles and there's also slabs as well. I think at the moment, while there's a lot of people focusing on the sealed product and how hot it all is, and it's so easy to scalp and blah, 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 and that sort of stuff, there's not a lot of focus on singles and PSA slabs. So that's kind of what I'm looking at buying at the moment, because eventually when the market turns and it realizes there's no sealed product out there, they'll start to go to singles and slabs. So that's just kind of a, I know that's not quite relevant to reselling, but it's relevant to how to adapt in a business, right? You need to be able to read the future, you need to be able to mind read, and you need to be able to look at what might be coming up, because I know I've got all of these shows and events coming up, and I'm probably not going to have the sealed product that I need for it, so I'm going to have to take something to these shows, otherwise I'm just wasting 500 quid a weekend on tables. So definitely true that you have to adapt, and adaptation really is key. I've adapted over the years many times, picked up different things that become a mainstay in my pickups now, and they don't have anything to do with toys or nerdy stuff or Pokemon or anything like that. So yeah, it is definitely key to adapt. I do believe though that YouTube videos have been a catalyst for how often you need to adapt or how quickly you need to adapt. I mean, ultimately, if, you had found something, say for example, right, there was a massive spike in PlayStation 3 controllers, and nobody knew that there was a massive spike in PlayStation 3 controllers, and nobody even knew that these things existed, right? You'd go around, you'd pick them up, and you'd be able to probably live off that for a little while, right? But nowadays, as soon as this information gets out, there's a video about it, and now everybody's looking for PS3 controllers. So you have to adapt much more quickly and much more, more quickly and more aggressively towards other things. So yeah, again, I do agree with you, Chris. but also I disagree in a sense as well. So it's kind of one, and this is the thing with a lot of this, right? I don't think there's necessarily like a yes or no answer. It's very much a teeter-totter, and there's very much a right answer on both sides of the argument. Almost every industry out there is also flooded on the tube. Information is at our fingertips everywhere you look. I built my own decking using YouTube instead of hiring a gardener or builder. I fixed my car without the needing to call a mechanic. And I even fixed an easy fault on my boiler without calling out a plumber. 100%. The availability to information out there these days is absolutely insane. I mean, over the last 20 years, we've had things like YouTube and Google, which have made everything at your fingertips just completely easily accessible, absolutely no problem at all. And even with the advancement of AI now, I can just type an answer into Grok and it will give me the answer straight away without having to go for it. Because the problem with Google now is that Google is not there for information; it's there to sell you information. It's there to sell you. When you type something into Google, the top 10 rank are all like marketing ranks that people are paid for. So it's not necessarily the best thing, but yeah, 100%. The scope for information is readily available to everybody out there, and everybody should be using this stuff, guys. It's all free. YouTube's free. You can sell anything you want, market anything you want on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these different places, and it is all free. Everybody should be utilizing it. This is the way that the world is going now, and I truly believe that working a job is old school. I don't see any value in it anymore. Sitting at a desk all day to make a shit wage, which is going down every year because they won't increase your wages, but inflation goes up. So yeah, definitely you should be using all of your resources, and they're all free, guys. So yeah, 100%. And then Chris finally ends on one thing for sure: those that don't like YouTube resellers, definitely watch them. So in turn, you could say they're also making the problem worse. Oh, 100%. We're yeah. I don't doubt that these people do watch YouTube resellers. I don't doubt that some of the people that have subscribed to me, that agreed with me, watch those YouTube videos as well. And I don't think it's necessarily, obviously if there's information available to you, you should be using it, right? So if there are videos out there that show you how to source a certain piece of stock, like, I don't know, records, for example, you would go and watch Brum Reseller. I think, though, that is a self-prophesizing truth, though, in that the reason why they watch you is not because they like you necessarily, it's because they want to know what you're picking up so that they can learn that information as well. So yeah, thanks Chris for that comment as well. I know it's quite a long comment. We'll be going into it further on our when we do a stream on the podcast as well, so make sure you check into that. Go check out Car Boot Chris as well, and we'll move on to the next comment. Now this next comment was from Ian, who's the master of pieces. I'll put them up all here again. And yeah, Ian was a very, very interesting comment, actually, because as you can see here, he says, I fall into the category of a COVID-inspired reseller and YouTuber. So he is one of the people that has come in, from COVID. And because if you remember back, I was saying, it's not really possible for someone that's only been in the business for 5 years to really comment what it was like 10 years ago, because they wouldn't have any gauge on that, right? And YouTubers, and let's not forget other social media platforms, have increased competition, no doubt, but I think it's a bit more subtle than you make out. The examples you give are massively popular right now in the collecting space rather than just general reselling. The reason why I use those examples, the Pokémon and things like that, is because it's something that's very obvious. I'm not giving away any secrets, and it's something that we can all relate to, right? It doesn't matter who you are, you probably know about the Pokémon hype at the moment. So it's something that we can all relate to and use as a standing point for what we're talking about and how you might be able to relate. Because I don't just want to talk about ethereal stuff that I don't want to reveal. I'd rather talk about something that we can say is, this is a concrete thing that we can talk about. We can refer to it in this way, shape and form. But yeah, you are completely right. The example I gave was massively popular right now, but it also shows how it can be really if reselling ever got to the point that Pokemon did, this is what it would be like. We'd all be running around, fist fighting each other in Costco aisles, trying to pick up the next set of blooming waters, right? As a content creator, I'm making videos that people want to watch. Rather than likes, I'm after views. Views are what I get paid for, and as a part-timer, that's not insignificant. To get views, the items to pick up are like the props, the characters to my story. I have a passion for toys, video games, 80s, 90s collectibles, and anything that induces nostalgia for my generation. I built a theme of items that I look out for and show my content, and people come back to watch and share my enthusiasm because of that. And yeah, 100% agree with you, Ian. Yeah, I watch your channel quite a lot, and I would actually say that your channel isn't really a learning, reselling channel like a lot of other YouTubers are, or maybe at least claim to be, or try to model themselves that way. You are more of a lifestyle YouTuber, right? I would say that reselling is your focus, but you're more of a lifestyle YouTuber, right? Like you say, you only do this part time. You're quite open with the figures that you make, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're just filming your life and how you do this stuff, and yeah, people do find that interesting. It creates like a parasocial relationship, which is beneficial or not beneficial, I guess, sometimes. But at least the people that watch you feel like they know you personally, and you're 100% right. That is what brings people back to your videos. So yeah, I don't think necessarily you are really what I was referring to in a sense. I think, yeah, you are a lifestyle YouTuber. It's the same as people that go traveling all the time and record it, or they go to, I don't know, just anything like that. I can't think of off the top of my head. I've got too much information up here. Next one. The YouTube UK reselling scene is small. The largest channel is Nick Hills at just under 70k subscribers, 6 to 10k views per video. There are a few in the 20k and 30k subs, but more average views than Nick. My channel is a low, is a low size. Rather than looking at the impact of reselling channels, which no doubt there is an impact, the biggest impact are low-hanging fruit like video games are the Gebs, Retro Ghetto, TVM, etc. type channels. Vastly larger audience, much more view time, all showing how they all grow in their collections. Not reselling questionable. By sourcing at charity shops, etc., there will be similar channels for retro toys. And yeah, 100%. I don't think the thing is, what you got to realize now is that the cat really is out of the bag on this stuff now, right? So there are of course much bigger YouTube channels, and there's even bigger ones in America. There's even bigger accounts in the UK on Instagram that are over 250,000, things like that. So you are right. I mean, some of those 250,000 Instagram channels have been around for like a year, and that's kind of my point, that the thing is with content at the moment is that content has changed massively over the last 10 years. If you was watching reselling videos 10 years ago, it likely would have been, watching Nick and Andrea Hills or Zahir, and you would have had to have watched, 20 minutes of talking like this, like what I'm doing now, and 10 minutes of boot sale footage, right? Now, unless you're a reseller, this video is going to be boring to you. Nick and Andrea Hill's videos are probably going to be boring to you. Zahir's videos would probably have been boring to you. But the issue now is that with the introduction of shorts over the last 5 years, you've got a massive, massive influx of quick, exciting videos. You've got people posting to Instagram, then walking straight up to a store and finding Pokémon, and then the next store they walk up to has got N64 games on it, when really those videos have probably been cut and spliced together to make it look more exciting, because that's what gets views and that's what gets clicks and likes on your channels, right? Now, the videos from 10 years ago probably would never have gone viral, because they aren't that viral style of it. Like, there's not many people that are going to really be interested in watching this video, right, or any of my reselling videos, because if you're not a reseller, why would you care about the theory behind reselling? You just want to see someone go pick up some cool shit, see how much they got for it, and it's a little bit like Cash in the Attic, or like Storage Wars or something like that. People love that stuff, and if they could watch in more bite-sized content, they definitely will do. And I think that has massively exacerbated the virality of videos over the last sort of 5 years. It's shorts, is that you can now watch this stuff in 10-second bites, 30-second bites, 1-minute bites, and you haven't got to watch a 30-minute video of me babbling on about shit just to watch 10 minutes of boot sale footage, right? The COVID era saw the boom in video games. For collectors, demand grew. These items are easily recognised for people of my generation. Take no research. There's more competition for that type of item because it gives the thrill of the find. Interestingly, if I make a video where I come across a retro game body for 50 quid, it's worth 100, it'll have tons of comments saying, wow, great find. And if I had a plasticky vetch toy for £3 worth £40, no one would bat an eyelid. No one's scraping around the back of a boot to pay £3 for a rotating wash line. 100%, yeah. You're completely right again. The the stuff that people like to see is the stuff that they, were picking up back as a kid. But I still think though that these videos do kind of give people the idea to go out and see, to go and try and find this stuff. It gives people, oh, I can do that. And this is the thing with reselling, right? Any idiot can do it. I can do it. I'm an idiot. I can do it with a tenner in my pocket and a mobile phone, and we can go around, and then I can turn that £10 into maybe £40, and then the next week I can turn that £40 into maybe £100, and then £100 into £300 because I had a specifically good day that day, and it snowballs on like that. So any idiot can do this job, and I think that's part of the issue, right? Is that all of these people that are falling out of work or don't earn a very good wage because they work, in a minimum wage job, for example, they can look at this and think, hold on a minute, and actually someone else commented, I wonder how long James spends to try and make, to try and find 10 pairs of trainers on Vinted. And my answer to him was, that's quite a really narrow-minded view, right? Because if James spent 5 hours on Vinted, right, trying to find 10 pairs of trainers, and he made £300 from that in 5 hours. Well, if you work in, a retail shop and you make £10 an hour, and in an 8-hour day you make 80 quid, then who's really the fault? Because even though James spent 5 hours sitting at home in the warm, not watching with the telly on, maybe some music on, cup of tea and a bacon sandwich, took him 5 hours to make 300 quid instead of spending, 8 hours in a job making 80 quid. So, it's very interesting when people say things like that anyway. And I definitely do agree that there is kind of like a jealousy thing. But I'm very conscious that we're running out of time. So hold on, let me just quickly look through. So the last part of Ian's comment that I'm going to just touch on here is his prices have gone up at boot sales, but I think that reflects in the price increase in general shops and the cost of living. Selling for 50p in a pound doesn't feel like you've actually achieved anything. People want a fiver for an item because a fiver actually holds some value in their eyes. They're feeling like it was actually worth selling it. And yeah, I do agree with you to an extent, but I think in their mind's eye, if they don't believe an item is worth more than a pound, then they won't sell it for more than a pound, right? I think if you tell them that item should be worth 50 quid, then they're more likely to sell it for a fiver. So there definitely is kind of like a teeter-totter on that. And again, it's kind of like a mixed, one of these, it does happen and it does happen. But I think overall it definitely is having an effect on it. But yeah, thanks again, Ian, for the comment on that. Really, really appreciate it. I'm sorry that I couldn't go through the whole thing, but I felt like I kind of touched on some of the other paragraphs in what I previously said anyway. The last one that I want to talk about today is just this one here. And this is from a person that actually does boot sales. They're not a reseller at all. And it says, oh my God, car boots are the worst nowadays. Sorry if this comes across as a rant, but I need to get it off my chest. I don't mind resellers for the most part, nor most YouTubers. I'm neither, for the record, but I have to say why I stopped selling at car boot sales. And this is definitely something to keep an eye on, guys. It's something that you should be mindful of if this is something that you do yourself. The crowding around my car as soon as I pitch up. Get back, devils. Let me set up. The worst is when people start rooting through my car, like, how dare you? Yeah, like, someone's just pulled up and you see someone opening their boot and it's not even the person that owns it, and they're rooting through. It's just the worst thing, guys. This does put people off. It's very, very rude. It's very, very aggressive. It's intimidating as well. People don't know. Listen, people don't trust you. They don't know if you're going to steal something. It doesn't mean that you will or that you even are a thief, but people don't know who you are, right? So you shouldn't put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're intimidating someone. Stop putting your bloody carts in front of stalls so nobody else can look. Seeing that that's a very, very popular tactic. This is a little better now, but it still happens. Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. Stop putting stuff in your carts before I've had a chance to see what you've picked up. It's no good saying, I'll have this lot, mate, and then disappearing. I have 20 other people at my store and you're just taking stuff. Now I know you will come back and pay, but it's so stressful. Boot fairs used to be fun. Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. You need to make it clear, show people what you are buying from them. Try and keep it in a pile somewhere that they can see. It doesn't need to be on the table where someone else can grab it, but just, put it on the floor or something like that, somewhere that they can see it, and then you can count it all up at the end. Because I definitely think theft is growing at the boot sales, guys. It's growing everywhere, to be honest with you. Even at card shows and stuff, we have stuff stolen from us. Even at Christmas fairs, we have stuff stolen from us. It is just the way it is. But sellers also need to be mindful as well. And I think sellers, you should be just be more aggressive. Just say to people, listen, if you don't get out of my fucking car, I'm going to shut the boot off and I'm going to close everything down and I'm going to have a walk around myself. And that's what I would do. I've even done that myself. If people climbing up to you when I've done a boot sale in the past, and I just lock the door and go around and start buying first. And people always come back because the stuff that I'm selling looks good, right? It's all like, you know, toys that I can't sell basically, but it looks good on a stall. So they, you know what they're like. They'll be rounded like flies or shit. And number 4. Oh my god, the entitlement. I go to boot fairs, offload stuff. I'm not professional. I mostly use boot fairs to declutter my house and sell my kids' toys and games. So I'm already selling at low prices, and all I hear is moaning that I'm not giving it out for 10p. I'm already giving you something for nothing. Stop being ungrateful. I had a bunch of Nerf guns as a £10 bundle, and all I heard was moaning from people that I wouldn't take 50p each for them. This leads me on to, yeah, so that happens quite a lot. I mean, you know, what you consider might be expensive and what I consider might be expensive are two different things. I mean, you know, as someone that has to do this as a business, my job is to get it for the lowest price, and your job as a seller is to get it for the highest price. We've got to meet somewhere in the middle to try and get the sale done, right? But yeah, you know, being vocal to people saying, oh, that's too dear, and it's very rude. You know, just let people charge what they want to charge. At the end of the day, you know it's worth more than even what they're asking for. It's just that you know, you can't make as much profit on it as what you wanted to. And I think that is a very rude thing to do. I even see other sellers, you know, they'll jump in over the top and say, I'll give you more and things like that. That's another cringe thing that I don't like to see. Yeah, you know, there is definitely, people are aware of this stuff happening around us, guys. And as you can see right there, that is a comment from a person that does boot sales, has no interest in reselling, but still clearly watches reselling videos, or at least enough to figure out what the truth about YouTube resellers actually is. So yeah, hopefully this video was interesting. If you've got any other subjects that you would like me to talk about in the future, please let me know. Leave some comments down below what things you'd like me to talk about. Well, I think this has been a really, really interesting subject, and it's had a lot of response. If you see how many comments there were, it's like 200 comments. I mean, some of them are obviously mine where I've been responding to people, but it's very rare that you see a YouTube video, a reselling video with that many comments on it. So I think it definitely resounded with people. It was definitely something that people wanted to talk about. And yeah, if you want to talk about it further, or you want to hear about it further, make sure you go follow Car Boot Chris, and you'll be seeing me feature on his podcast in the very, very near future. And this subject is something we'll be talking about in great length. We'll have a little bit of back and forth, and hopefully it'll be a little bit of you know, good banter and stuff like that. I think Chris he's kind of on the other side of, not even necessarily my opinion, but obviously on the other side of things, because he does YouTube reselling as a business. So it'd be interesting to hear, you know, what he thinks about it without having to you know, without going through the minutiae of having to type it all out in a 20 million word essay, you know, because it's very, very unnatural. Even me just reading it here to you didn't really feel very natural. So hopefully that'll be more interesting. But yeah, leave us a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here, come back, and let us know in the comments as well if there's any topics you'd like me to discuss in an objective manner in the future, because I think this is something that people would quite like to see. You know, if there's a topic you'd like me to discuss and give it more objective, and you know, I don't want to there doesn't need to be any like ego around it or anything like that, or you know, like I say, people signing into their alt accounts and leaving comments that they shouldn't be. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one, and hope to see you soon.